Good evening, everybody. An echo that. Good evening. Welcome to our celebration event. This is a big milestone for Aspired Futures. Although the history of Aspired Futures really begins about 5 years ago, really it started 3 years ago when the Kensington Foundation allowed Aspired Futures to move in and share this beautiful house. So the big first thanks is to Julia and her team for allowing us to share this beautiful house and giving us encouragement and support on a continuous basis. It means a great deal to us. The focus tonight is our amazing garden. I think you might see we've had a wizard around, and there is some storytelling in the Hobbit house later. But I hope you'll take the opportunity to see the inside of the house as well as the outside and see what this house means to Aspired Futures, to its children, its volunteers and its staff. In all, 2013 has been a momentous year for Aspired Futures. We survived by the skin of our teeth through a grant from, I have to get this right, Blackpool Clinical Commissioning Group, and without that intervention we probably wouldn't be standing here today. That allowed us to have the courage to then start to bid for the money, which is when we started to approach the wooden spoon. We had big dreams of what outside might be, because a number of the children who come to sessions with Aspired Futures have little or no access to outdoor play, leisure or sports activities. And we have these marvellous grounds that are used of, and so it's important to try and make the most of that. So we had a vision, and we were very sceptical that it was ever going to come to anything. But with the support of the Wooden Spoon, we have been able to develop the area in very many ways. Half of the money that we got from Wooden Spoon, or almost half of it, went on tarmac. So it's not very exciting, but it was the first step. It was essential because what we had before was quite broken and not suitable for the children. So we will invite you at the end of these features to tour with us, and we'll show you what we spent Wooden Spoon money on. I won't invite you to inspect the tarmac for too long, but just kind of bear it in mind. There is some painting as well that's being done, and again, I don't want you to sort of watch that paint dry, but it has all helped to improve our outdoor area. We're very proud of our gates that went up on Sunday. We're very pleased with those. But in addition, we have our activity pod, our outdoor classroom, or summer house, as we prefer to call it, and the magical garden on that side of the house, which, if you haven't seen it already, we will show you afterwards. So I would like to bring in the Wooden Spoon just to say a few words for us. So I'll hand over to Martin, who is chairman of the Lancashire part of Wooden Spoon.
Okay, Alan, do I need a microphone? No. I hadn't realised until this evening that we'd spent all that time fundraising and spent it all on tarmac. Most of you probably don't know who Wooden Spoon are. Just very, very quickly, we're the charity of British Rugby, and our aim is to improve the lives of disadvantaged children all over the country. We're based on regional committees, and all the money we raise locally through fundraising events is spent locally in projects such as this. Nationally, since we formed in 1983, I think something like 2 million children have benefited from £20 million of fundraising in over 500 projects such as this one. And it's a charity based upon the values and commitment of a great team game, rugby. Without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to our Lancashire President, former England and British Lions captain, Deputy Lieutenant of Lancashire, Bill Beaumont.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've been involved in Wooden Spoon since its inauguration in 1983, and I don't know if you know what the Wooden Spoon is. It's whoever finishes bottom of, in those days, it was the Five Nations rugby. You know, and England did really well that year. They played 4, lost 4. So there were four businessmen in Dublin on the way back, and they were fed up about the game of rugby, so they thought, well, let's start a charity. What can we call it? So they called it the Wooden Spoon, and hence the name. And I'm delighted to be associated with it, and also with the areas Martin's alluded to. That sort of, and when you look round, and it actually makes me feel very humble when I come here this evening, because you look at the amount of hard work that volunteers put in to make this possible. That and just to run it, it's absolutely unbelievable that the commitment that you show here, and enrich the lives of young people, and to help them. So when we're all feeling a bit sorry for ourselves, you know, me with my bad knee and can't get in the sort of butt and things like that, you know, sort of, absolutely delighted to be here to help open up the facility, and it's tremendous. And all the contractors that have been involved, thanks very much to you for making it all possible as well. But sort of anyway, you don't want to listen to me all night. Sort of, I don't know do we have a ribbon? Do we just sort of? Do we have a magic wand? We have a magic wand. But all I'll do is just declare the play facility open, and congratulate everybody that's been involved in making this possible. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. It has given us an enormous boost to have this, all this work done. And I would just like to take this minute to thank one of our board members in particular, Pete Mercer, without whose expertise and contacts we would have been a little bit lost going forward with this. So a big thank you to Pete just at this point in time. I don't know where he is, but we'll point him out afterwards. Thank you, Pete. In addition to this big grant, we're also very grateful to support from local organisations, and we're particularly pleased to have support from a couple of Rotary groups. I'd like to just invite Gail from Palatine Rotary, just maybe to say a few words about her connection, or her group's connection with Aspire Futures.
Thank you, Troy. I don't need a microphone. I've got quite a loud voice, so I sometimes use it, but not very often. Sorry, I'm standing in front of...
No, I don't mind at all.
I'm behind you, I can see over you.
We don't mind.
Well, Blackpool Palatine Rotary Club has been involved with Carmen and her team for many years, way before Aspired actually started, and when, of course, Home Start finished and Aspired came on board with the ladies doing so much for so little, not taking any wages or anything like that for a whole year, we certainly got behind them as much as we could, both physically and financially, wherever we could. And one of the main, let's say, fans of Aspired, and especially Carmen, because he loved the ladies, was Terry Dalton, who was our president a couple of years ago. And unfortunately we lost him not too long ago, about 15 months ago now. But we have had a plaque in the garden devoted to Terry and all his work that he did with Carmen and her team. So we're very proud of our connection with Aspired, and I hope that other people will come on board as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Another Rotary organisation that supports us is Sunrise, and Alicia has now bravely stepped in for somebody else. She didn't know that we were going to ask her to speak when she got here, but if Alicia would just tell us a few words about what her connection means.
Hello. My connection has gone along a long time ago from working with this team in my other life, and seeing the children who have gone into Aspired Futures. I think they're an inspirational group of people who are working with these children, who can only benefit from the input they're having from this group. Sunrise have been involved for some years too, and we feel that local charities, particularly this one, is something to fundraise for, and we're very happy to do so. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm now going to introduce Kendall Lee, who I didn't think was in the room, and who is the spokesman for St. Patrick's. Some of you might recognise Kendall as our MC from our summer show, so it's by popular demand that he's back, and I'm very pleased to see you. I assume you're not going to dance with ladies at the moment?
No.
No. So I'll just ask you to say a few words.
All right, well, thank you very much, Alicia. I didn't know I was going to say anything, but rather than say something, I've got something far better to do, which is to give you a cheque for £800. That's called putting your money where your mouth is. So I don't think you need to say anything more, do I? Thank you very much.
No, thank you, Kendall. I have to say, guests who I didn't know who were here, who have cheques for £800, are very, very welcome. So if there's any more that I don't know are here with cheques, then please shout out now. We are fortunate to have a number of other charities that support us, and I'd just like to mention Queen Dean's. They answered our appeal to top up the fund and do some extra work in the garden. So with a donation from them and a donation from Kensington, we were able to do some work at the front of the house. And more recently, Carmen and I and Pete sort of emotionally blackmailed somebody from the garden place on Cropper Road, and they sort of gave us an awful lot of plants that they had going spare, I think. But the generosity of so many people is amazing, and it does give us the courage to keep going forward. Many contractors, as Bill mentioned, have contributed to getting us to where we are now. I would just like to mention too, in particular, our carpenter and our artist, Wayne and Shirley. Shirley is with the children at the moment, you can't miss her, she's dressed as a wizard. And Wayne may wave and make himself known. There he is. We sort of gave some fairly broad, wacky ideas about what we wanted outside. Something different, something unique, something suitable for children of all ages.
Something impractical.
Something completely impractical, something completely unaffordable, something that is suitable for children aged 2, something that will challenge children, and something that can still be used for our teenagers. And you will see outside that we gave them some wacky ideas. They have taken that, added their flair and their ability, and they've made things that are quite magical in our garden. So to Wayne and Shirley, a really, really big thank you. And as you're aware, Aspire Futures is all about the children and young people, and I can't actually see them at the moment, but we don't know, there they are, they're waving at me. You haven't got cheques, guys, by any chance? Have you? Okay. 3 of our teenage volunteers would just like to step forward and say a few words about their connection and why they keep turning up to Aspire Futures. I'll hand you to Beth first, and then she will introduce their friends.
I need a microphone. Basically, I'm Beth.
I'm Tim. And I'm Kevin, and I don't need a microphone.
Everyone need a microphone. And basically, we're just going to say a few things about Aspired and what it means to us and why I volunteer here. I need to use the microphone. And then basically, like I said, I'm Beth. I've been a volunteer here for just over a year now. And the reason why I got involved with Aspire was I came into our sixth form to do some enrolment. And it was actually Anya's daughter, one of the ladies that works here, that recruited me for this. So I'm a bit nervous. And then, so I saw it was a charity for local children, and which is something that really means a lot to me, to do something for the local community. And then when I saw it was disadvantaged children, it was something that I thought really interested me, because I'd never worked with children before. And so it sounds cliched, but from the first moment I came in here, I could just see what a lovely, friendly environment it was, and some of the children are just so friendly, just coming up to you, and when you hear some of their stories, it's heartbreaking, but they're so lovely. And it's just the connection that I love from Aspire, that you have with each children. I think we know each children individually, one-to-one, which you don't get with larger charities. And it's just so lovely, and like I said, the team is just so good. We all work together, and one thing that I really like about Aspire is we work, like we said, from ages from 2 all the way up until teenage years. And even then, once they get too old for the sessions, we're doing a thing where they can then volunteer for us. And then, so it's really good, so we work with them right up until they're adults, and then they come back here and we can't really get rid of us, and then they come back, so that's really good. And then, but yeah, so a little bit about me is that I'm really hoping to become a doctor one day. I do struggle a little bit with confidence, and coming here has really, really helped me with my confidence. My public speaking, working with the children, and I really love to go into paediatrics now, and I think it's really good for volunteers to come in here because it gives the children positive role models, which I think is really good, and then we all just get stuck in, and it's really good with one-to-one here, so it's really nice for the children just to get involved with people of a younger generation. And then so that's basically all I have to say, really. Pass you over to Tim.
Yeah, I'm Tim. I've been with Aspire Future for about 5 years now. I started when they were at Beacon Hill, I came with my gran, and I joined in with the activities. I've really enjoyed it here. It's been great seeing the transition from Beacon Hill to Kensington, because the building here is amazing. So it's been good for me because I used to do the activities, and now being able to lead some of the activities as a volunteer, it's great to see the kids, developing. I really enjoy seeing the kids enjoy themselves, grow, learn. And the volunteers, development volunteers, it's been great seeing the volunteers change. There's a lot more younger volunteers, which is brilliant because they are kids themselves, so they learn from the activities as well. And I want to be a teacher when I'm older, so I'm at Blackpool 6 at the moment, I'm in lower 6, and this really helped because it will go on CV. So I'm really I'm really looking forward to using this to be teaching. It's great. So I'll pass on to Kevin.
Hi, I'm loud enough. I'm Kevin, I'm 16, some might be surprised. But I came here for my personal reasons. I suffered from mental health about 9 months ago. I came here in January, Anya kind of forced me. I was a bit edgy on it, but as soon as I got here, I was 100% for it. I found out what they did, what they helped, and it was for me to have long-term stability, which I didn't have at the time. And now I do. They are with you every day, texting you, nagging you, bringing you in, forcing you to do things. But like this, I will enjoy it. It will go on my CV. So. As soon as I got here, I met the kids. I was quite shy at first, which isn't me. I was quite quiet, which really isn't me. But now, my opinions on life have changed. Now I want to go into charity work when I'm older. I do a lot of charity work now. It is my #1 goal to be a big shot charity worker who helps hundreds and millions of people with millions of pounds. But this is a massive stepping stone, and for it to be such a small charity but to have such a big impact on 50, 60, 70 children is amazing, because you don't get that from bigger charities. They give short-term impact to 2 million children, which is not what they need. They need long-term stability. They need help, they need someone who will always be there even though they think they won't, which is what they provide day in, day out, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday if needed. Every day they're with you, they're texting you, they're ringing you, they're nagging you, and then nagging you, and nagging and nagging. But it's good, it's positive, They do it for a reason. And to see them get so much money to help us and the younger children and the volunteers is so positive, and so it makes the atmosphere livelier because now the kids can benefit from a lot more, which is...
Well done.
Before they move, can I just mention that Kevin organised his own charity event on Sunday night for Oxfam. The volunteers and some of the staff as well went down to support him. It was called Ox Jam. It's a good night at a pub down in Rhythm. And Kevin's night made £500. Thank you. I think Julia would just like to say a few words.
It will only be a few.
Julia manages... I'll let Julia tell you what she...
No, it doesn't matter what I do.
I just want to say happy birthday to Aspired, really, because I think on Wednesday or the week Wednesday after, you've been here 3 years, haven't you?
I know.
And I just wanted to say that Aspired are here really because of Anya. As I've been working with the foundation for the last 20 years, we do have one of our trustees here tonight, John Brooke, and I'm so delighted he's here. And our chairman and one of the other trustees came this afternoon because they couldn't come this evening. And that is huge for them to come here. And they were so impressed. When we moved into this house, it had been owned by Scope. I wish I'd thought I was going to do this and I could have done something else. And it was really a very poor, sad, tired house. And at the time there was just Caroline. I don't know where she is. Has she left? Oh, there she's there was Caroline and I rattling around in this house like a couple of peas, and there was just my son Damien, he should be here somewhere, with his scraper and his razor blades, because we decided we'd have to try and restore the house to its Victorian beauty, whilst making parts of it workable office space and parts of it for the children that I had faith would eventually come here. Over the last 20 years that I've worked with this foundation, I've been hugely privileged by the trust that the trustees have put in me, and all the different projects that we've done. A lot of you here won't know what we've done, and I could mention other charities who we started and you'd go, oh yeah, know them. But anyway, I'll leave that because I'm not really into that sort of thing. I just wanted to say that what brought them here was Anya's enthusiasm for the work she did for this organisation. I'd often seen Carmen in the paper and I thought, that's a cool name. And I thought she was really up there. And never thought she'd want to talk to me. But anyway, after Anya, you know, we sort of, I don't quite know how it happened, but we got together. And then, don't really quite know how it happened.
I came to see you.
Did you? Yes. But I decided that, you know, you've not got to be put off by the people who've wronged you, have you? Because if you give somebody a chance and they make a fool of you and they take from you and do the wrong thing, I just feel if you haven't got the enthusiasm for that next person, you might as well just pack it in. And, you know, these next people, to me, I just think are the best. My team of people are small, but totally committed to what we try and do. Carmen and I are on the same page usually. Now and again we're not in the same chapter, are we? But we work it out, and I love what Aspired Futures do, and the fact that these three young people have had the confidence to stand here before you all, it's taking me all my time, and say what they said. I have no understanding. All the people that I help are all people who've had a bad deal in life. And I don't know what that feels like, because I've been surrounded by love all my life. And if you are, share it. And that's what Aspire do. And thank you for coming.
Thank you, Julia. I usually have a big enough task following the young people. I usually don't know what to say after that. And I really don't know what to say after that, Julia. So I'll stop saying things.
Just give us the check.
Yeah. Other than, we now invite you to join one of us who would like to give you a tour around the grounds and show you the tarmac. And one or two other things, and also the inside of the house, so that you can see what kind of activities go on. You may have seen there are a group of children with us here tonight, and they are getting on with their activities, some outside, some inside, and I think there might be some storytelling going on. If you already know the house in and out and you've seen outside, please go and get yourself another glass of delicious water from the right-hand side, or maybe relax in the annex. But if I could ask you maybe not to stay in this room, because we need to set up for supper to be served. And on that little note, I just want to thank Josie and Sean from Dahlia's Kitchen, who I rang up and I said, we're having this event, we want to be good hosts, we want to provide a nice supper, because that's an example we want to set to our children, but we don't have any money. Bless her, Josie took me on board straight away, and the corned beef hash that I hope has arrived is coming to us at a very, very, very reasonable rate. So I'll just give her a plug, because she completely embraced us right from the very beginning. And just thank you, everybody, for coming tonight.